Okay, this is the story of how I ended up here at the gig at Rotterdam. So these guys showed up at our house at like 10 o'clock in the morning and said,
let's go bike riding.
Let's go bike riding. It sounded good to me. I hadn't been out in the city yet, so I jumped on one of our fantastic host family's bikes and we took off. We rode for about an hour around a lake. It was pretty. We saw sheep. We took pictures. It was great. Then the way that it ended up with the schedule, we needed to go return their bikes. So we go back to the bike shop, we return their bikes, and then their home was on the way to mine. So we got there. The lady said, no problem, let me give you some directions. So I wrote down like 2 or 3. She said, take a right at the water tower, take a left at the fork in the road, at the sheep pasture, take a left. And I've got 45 minutes before we're getting picked up. She said it would take 20 minutes to get there. So I got on my bike and I booked it. I never found the water tower. I have no idea where the fork in the road was. And it took me an hour just to get back. And I mean, the last 20 minutes I was sprinting. Like I can barely walk. My legs are like... And I didn't know where I had come from. I didn't know where I was going. I had their house number and their street name. And then at about 10 minutes till we were getting picked up, I lost all of my dignity. And I asked every Dutch person along the way if they knew where the street was. And they were great. They got me there. And I finally found the canal that's in the backyard. And I followed that. And
it could have been worse. You could have been bicycling with wooden shoes.
Yeah. But we got back.
Welcome to Holland.
It's good to be here.
You get a kick out of that, don't you? Yeah. That's all the merch bags right there.
That's all that we had.
Oh no.
Missing?
Guess what? Cue the strings. The guys left the merch bags in their car, in their house. So Obi and Ryan and Chris, they just left it in the living room in their house.
Okay. So it'll sell itself. So any potential chance of
sell the merch, tell them to drive to Amsterdam and pick it up. Yeah. Well, that's one solution. So we're relying on this merch today because today is the day that pretty much determines whether Kevin gets paid, whether I get paid on this tour, whether we cover all of our costs. Now we got to figure out some way to get this merch brought to us. Kev, did you count the bags?
Yes. 3 bags. We should have 5.
Yeah, we're missing.
Figure out.
We got to figure out somebody to go all the way back and come.
I would drive if we need to.
Yeah, that would be great. I would prefer you to. Kevin's just been told it's going to take 3 hours to go and get the bags. So driving there and back is not really an option.
That's like a reality TV show.
It is a reality TV show. The only difference is it's not scripted. We're not making up this rubbish. This kind of stuff happens. Jen's hair actually looks like this.
Oh, God.
Is that bad or good?
No, it's good. I'm just saying. None of us are wearing makeup. Well, besides her.
I'm good at you. I have my girdle on.
You just made yourself a chocolate sandwich, dude. What you doing there? That's almost like a Dutch eclair.
It's apple.
So we're still trying to figure out what to do with this merch. It's kind of a catch-22. We can't go back. There's not enough time to go back and come back. It'll take 3 hours. And we can't really just get anybody just to go and get it because they don't have the key to get into the house, and we don't have a way to reach the people who own the house. They're not answering their phone. So we're still trying to get creative. Worst case scenario, we'll go with less merch, and it's not the end of the world. It's just
highly frustrating.
Highly frustrating. Yeah, it's just tough because, we have to be responsible for our stuff, and it looks like now we have to be responsible for others.
I think I'm going to start forgetting keyboards lying around, just leave them there.
Yeah, well, you did forget the guitar. You did say, did you get the guitar? Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, it is what it is. That's why you're the manager and
yes,
other people aren't. Tyrone is needing a throne for his drums, something to sit on. So he's auditioning different chairs.
pretty much cut the tree and lacquered the wood. And
Oh no! Really? You pieced the whole thing? I saw it was so dusty.
Yeah.
It was just like, wow, had this thing been played? Roots! Hey, how you doing? So what we're doing now is we're going to send out a blast to our fans, and we're going to ask them if any of them would like to come to the concert for free if they can get the bag from Amsterdam and get them to Rotterdam. So we shall see. So it's been a very interesting tour. I'm going to be honest, all European tours are interesting. We've had, as usual, good times or bad times. I don't know what it is about touring Europe, but on a whole, the soil is, well, it's really hard soil. Some countries like France, for instance, the church attendance is just so low, and the gospel needs to get out there. You know, there's some places where the harvest is ripe, where you just give an altar call and, you know, thousands of people come forward, and or you hold a concert and hundreds of thousands of people arrive. Well, you're lucky if hundreds arrive in Europe. But that's one of the reasons why we do it too. One popular gospel reggae artist said to me, you know, why don't you just only tour in Brazil, because it seems like God's really blessing you there. Well, if I only went where God was giving us huge crowds, then we wouldn't be fulfilling the Great Commission. We wouldn't be reaching every nation. And I believe that that's something that Jesus specifically wanted us to do. He didn't just say, you know, go wherever you like the temperature the most. Go where the people are most beautiful. He didn't say, go where you get the best reception. Until all know is basically our calling. But with that, it means that these tours are tougher, and this one has been tough. If you followed us, you'll realize that there was one show that was booked, that stayed booked, right, Kevin? Two shows that were booked that stayed booked out of 7 shows. So 5 were cancellation replacements or cancellations that got rebooked, and it just made it really, really tough for us. Means that people were doing us favors, and people were overextending themselves for us last minute. When was the shortest one booked? Like a week out, 2 weeks out? What? A week out. I mean, who books a show a week out? So that would explain why some of the crowds were smaller, and some of the shows it was more challenging for sound and getting certain things. Sleep was a big, tough thing. If you watch any of our video blogs, you know that the sleep deficit is a huge issue continuously. But on this tour, it seems like every flight was at 7:30, meaning that we had to be out of the hotel before 5. It seemed like they were. Kevin's over there. Every flight leaves at 7:35. It just makes it tough, and And overall, it affects the attitudes of the band. The band members. We started to sense some murmuring, some whining, some complaining, some, you know, attitude, if you will. It wasn't so much attitude as it was just things that needed to be addressed. So last night during the show, when I jumped off stage for a second, while Avion was doing Third World Girl, Kevin's like, hey, Mark, I think we need to have a meeting with the band, go over some things, discuss things. And so we did last night after the show. And just kind of reiterated, hey, remember why we're doing this? I know the guys know, but remember that, you know, the reason why things are so tough, why there's a lot of times, you know, we're hungry and we didn't get a meal, or, you know, it's not the most ideal routing is because we take what we can get, and sometimes we don't get sandwiches. Sometimes all we get is just bread and a little cheese and some meat. And then there's sometimes in Brazil where we get churrascaria every day. We just have to give thanks for what we get. But in this tour, it's leaner, it's tougher, and makes us tougher. And our breaking point's a lot shorter here. So it was good to talk to the guys, and we cleared some things up. And it seemed like the attitudes were better, right, Kev? Oh, yeah. After the fact. Definitely seemed like the attitudes are better, and the fact that this is the last show will make it even easier. But to be honest, 7 days straight of touring in Europe, 7 shows in a row in 3 countries is like doing a month in Brazil or or in Central America or South America. So it's definitely tougher here, but we love it, and that's why we keep coming back.